Howard and Bing are gaming. It is Saturday. I'm bored, says Howard. Let's go flying in your top hat. Then we'll need some power, says Bing. Your hat uses power? Howard asks. Yep. Without a battery, there's no flying and no making us small, says Bing. No battery? No magic. Howard finds a battery. Will this do? Absolutely, says Bing. Time to fly. Howard sticks his foot into the hat. He gets very small. Bing follows. Let's go then. Bing flies the hat out of a window. They zoom over rooftops and trees. They go very fast and don't see a bird coming toward them. Look out! Howard yells. But it is too late. The hat hits the bird and the battery falls out. The bird hits a tree and falls to the ground. Bing can't control the hat. The hat is out of control. It bumps into a couple of branches and hits the ground with a thump. Inside the hat, they are both topsy-turvy. Are you all right, Bing? Says Howard. I'm just a little sore. But without power, we can't turn big again. They crawl out of the hat. Wow! The grass is as tall as trees, says Howard and stares. Yes, a garden turns into a jungle when you are itsy-bitsy, says Bing. Come, we have to find the battery. They walk between the tall grass. Everything is enormous. Suddenly, the ground shakes. Help! Howard yells. What is going on? Is it an earthquake? Absolutely not, says Bing. It is an earthworm. Who wants to say hello? A giant worm comes out of the ground. It doesn't have a face, so it is hard to tell if it is happy. The worm shakes and hits back into the ground at once. Bing scratches his chin. Something must have scared it off. They hear a noise from behind. They turn around and see the bird that they hit with the hat. It is very big and not at all happy. Run for your life, Bing yells. Wait, says Howard. I think it is hurt. The bird sits down on the ground. It is sad. They go carefully over to it. Look, says Howard. There's something in its claw. It is a splinter from a tree. Bing and Howard try to pull the big splinter out, but they are not strong enough. We need help, says Howard. I think I know where we can find it, says Bing. Do you see those tracks? He points into the tall grass. This way. Bing starts running. Hey, wait for me, Howard yells and runs after him. Bing stops and points. Shh! There's something behind those roots, he whispers. Freeze! A beetle comes out from behind the roots. It is as big as a horse and looks terrifying. Don't move, says Bing. Maybe it won't hurt us. The big beetle comes closer. This is the end, says Howard. But then something happens. There's movement all around them in the tall grass. An army of ants make a circle around the big beetle. It gets startled and runs into the tall grass. Howard, say hello to my friends. Bing gestures towards the ants. Your friends? How do you know them? Bing winks at Howard. This is not the first time I've been small, he says. Bing turns to face the many ants. Dear friends, thanks for your help with the big beetle. Come along, friends. We need your help, says Bing. All the ants follow Bing. They go back to the sad bird. If we all pull, We can get the splinter out. I know that ants are really strong, says Bing. Howard, Bing, and all the ants line up in a queue. They get a good grip in the one in front of them. Now pull! Howard and Bing yell together. They pull with all their might, and voila! The splinter comes out. The bird jumps and sings with joy. I think that the bird will help us find the battery, says Howard. I think you're right, says Bing. Let's crawl up on its back. They fly around for a bit. There it is, Howard yells and points down. They get the battery, and the bird flies them back to the hat. Thank you so much, Birdie. If you should ever need us, just tweet, says Howard. The bird waves at them with a wing and flies away. The two friends take off in the hat. From now on, I will always watch where I walk, so I don't step on our new friends, says Howard. Yes, ants are good friends, says Bing. They land in front of Howard's house. Howard steps out of the hat and grows to normal size again. That was a fun adventure, he says into the hat. But Bing doesn't answer. He has already fallen asleep. Where have you been? Asks Mom when Howard comes through the front door. And how messy you are! Our hat hit a bird, and the battery fell out, Howard explains. You have grass and dirt all over. Have you been through a jungle? Mom asks. Maybe I kind of have, Howard laughs. You rascal, says Mom. We're eating in a moment, but go wash those hands. I will, says Howard. Mom gives him a kiss.